10 people with a unique story to tell. This article is going to examine a collection of people who have experienced extraordinary life events or have predicted rather shocking occurrences in their life. I wanted to select individuals who haven't been featured in many lists and might present new material for even the most dedicated reader. For this reason, the people selected don't follow a specific guideline except for the fact that they have tackled a rather difficult and often controversial issue in their lifetime. 10. Jason Collins. In the May 6, 2013 issue of Sports Illustrated, NBA center Jason Collins became the first openly active gay athlete in the history of North American major team sports, which includes football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Collins is quoted, "I didn't set out to be the first openly gay athlete in an American team sport. But since I am, I'm happy to start the conversation." In college, Collins played at Stanford University and was the 18th overall pick in the 2001 NBA draft. As a rookie, he made an immediate impact in the league with the New Jersey Nets and helped the team reach the NBA Finals in 2002. In 2004, Collins signed a $25 million contract with the Nets and played in New Jersey until 2008. Since that time he has played with 5 separate NBA teams. In 2013, Jason was involved with trade and became a member of the Washington Wizards. He has averaged 3.6 points and 3.8 points per game in his 12-year NBA career. After the 2013 season, Collins became a free agent and will be looking for a new team this offseason. After he made the announcement, a large collection of NBA players came to his support. Kobe Bryant said, "Proud of Jason Collins. Don't suffocate who you are because of the ignorance of others." A number of high-ranking U.S. officials, such as former President Bill Clinton and current President Barack Obama, have also released statements in support of Jason Collins. 9. Robert Liston. Robert Liston was a Scottish surgeon that lived during the first half of the 1800s. He was one of the most talented doctors during an era when surgical care was much different than today. During the first part of the 19th century, doctors didn't understand the importance of cleanliness and of washing their hands before invasive surgery. In many operations, the main goal was speed. The faster you got the job done, the better your chances of survival. During his career, Robert Liston was known as the fastest knife in the West and was a renowned surgeon. He could amputate a leg in a couple of minutes and remove an arm in under 30 seconds. During his workday, Liston was known to wear a blood-stained bottle green coat with Wellington boots. He would often invite his students to watch his operations and have them time his amputations. In many cases, Liston was said to keep his bloody operating knife in his mouth while he worked. Sadly, despite his reputation as a great surgeon, many of Liston's patients died because of the general lack of interest in keeping infections away. In the last years of his life, Robert Liston became the first doctor to perform an operation with modern anesthesia by using ether. He also invented a leg splint device that is still used in some hospitals today. Liston was a great surgeon that saved many lives. However, he has also gained a reputation for some sloppy work and bizarre operations. Some of the most unbelievable medical cases are attributed to Robert Liston. 8. Marlon Brandt Pullman. On March 14, 2013, a man named Marlon Pullman was arrested at the Portland International Airport in the U.S. state of Oregon and charged with multiple sex crimes. He is accused of drugging 4 separate women with LSD, ecstasy, and laughing gas, then kidnapping and raping the women. Pullman is thought to have used a syringe filled with an unknown chemical substance to disable his victims. After police entered his home, they found a makeshift drug lab that appeared to have a large collection of unidentified chemicals. By all accounts, Pullman was a smart man who worked for EMC Corporation, which is a company that specializes in data storage. He is currently being held in jail under a $2 million bail and has yet to face trial as of early May 2013. 7. Artie Moore. Artie Moore was a Welshman that made many contributions to early radio and wireless communication technology. At a young age, he constructed a homemade radio station that allowed him to receive signals from around the world. In 1911, Moore intercepted a message from the Italian government that was a declaration of war against Libya. In 1912, Moore became world famous after he decoded a message from the ill-fated RMS Titanic in the hours before its demise. On April 15, 1912, Moore was managing his radio equipment when he received a Morse code signal from the Titanic. The signal gave the ship's location and announced that it had struck an iceberg and was sinking. The final message read, "Come as quickly as a possible, old man, our engine room is filling up to the boilers." Moore immediately gave the information to the local authorities, but they did not believe his story as the ship was thought to be unsinkable. 6. Anna Bagenham. The story of Anna Bagenham is one of survival. In 1999, the 29-year-old Bagenham was living in Narvik, Norway when she decided to go for a skiing trip outside of Narvik with two friends. While skiing down a steep hill, Anna lost control and fell headfirst onto a frozen river near a waterfall. After she landed, a hole opened up in the ice and Bagenham became trapped beneath the water with only her legs and skies visible. After arriving at the scene, Anna's friends attempted to pull her out of the water, but they were not strong enough. They called for a rescue team approximately 7 minutes after Anna had fallen into the freezing cold water. At this time, she was able to find an air pocket under the ice and stay conscious for 40 minutes until she passed out from circulatory arrest. Once the rescue team reached the location, they were able to cut a hole in the ice to retrieve Anna's motionless body. 5. Frank Olsen. One of the most mysterious deaths of the 20th century is the case of U.S. biological weapons specialist Frank Olsen. In 1943, Olsen was one of the men who helped start the United States bioweapons program. In the late 1940s, he conducted experiments on biological weapons, toxins, and human mind control drugs. He was involved in the infamous Project MKUltra that looked into the behavioral engineering of humans. It is unclear exactly what Olsen did with the U.S. bioweapons program, but it has been suggested that he was spotted in the area of Pont Saint-Esprit in 1951 before the mass poisoning event that killed 7 people and left 50 others in asylums. In 1953, Olsen traveled to Europe and visited a series of chemical research facilities. At this time he may have witnessed some extreme experiments with biological weapons, which caused him to regret his work. It has also been said that Frank might have discovered information regarding the use of biological weapons in the Korean War. In 1951, the Communists made various claims that they were being attacked by disease-stricken mosquitoes. 4. Thomas Midley Jr. Some people have claimed that Thomas Midley Jr. has caused more damage to the Earth's environment than any other single organism in the history of the world. Midley was an American chemist who developed the tetraethyllead (TEL) additive to gasoline in some of the earliest chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. Chlorofluorocarbon is a compound that was widely used in the middle of the 20th century in products such as solvents, refrigeration, and air conditioning. In 1916, Midley began working for General Motors and found that when you mix a tetraethyllead (TEL) substance with gasoline, a car seemed to run smoother. In response to the positive results, GM decided to promote the new product as a more fuel-efficient gas and advertised it as ethyl. However, the company failed to include mention of the potentially harmful effects of the lead being used in the combustion of the gas. Ethyl quickly became a standard ingredient in motor fuel, and the substance wasn't largely removed from the market until the early 2000s, when it was proven beyond a doubt that the neurotoxicity of lead was damaging the world's environment. Over the course of his time experimenting with TEL, Midley received lead poisoning on numerous occasions. In October of 1924, Midley had a press conference where he poured TEL all over his hands and inhaled the substance for 60 straight seconds. The demonstration almost killed Thomas, and he spent over a year recovering from lead poisoning. 3. Billy Meyer. In 1937, Edward Meyer was born in the Swiss town of Bulak. At a young age, Meyer became interested in spiritual exploration, and his first described extraterrestrial experience was at the age of 5. According to Meyer, he has been periodically visited by a collection of extraterrestrials named Pleiadians throughout his lifetime. Meyer has identified the Pleiadians as coming from beyond the Pleiades, which is an open star cluster located in the constellation of Taurus. The Pleiades is the clearest star cluster from Earth. Meyer has described his alien visitors as humanoid Nordic aliens who look similar to European Caucasian humans. They are typically 6 to 7 feet tall, have blonde hair, blue eyes, and are extremely athletic. Some contact reports have indicated that Nordic aliens hold a strong concern for the Earth's environment and world peace. They are said to be smiling, affectionate, youthful, and all-knowing beings. 2. Vitaly Nevsky and Artem Novikonyak. Vitaly Nevsky and Artem Novikonyak are the two Russian astronomers that discovered the comet C/2012 S1. The object was found on September 21, 2012, at the International Scientific Optical Network, ISON, near Kislovodsk, Russia. For this reason, the comet is often referred to as ISON. ISON is a Sun-Grazing comet that will pass extremely close to the Sun on November 28, 2013. It has been difficult for Nevsky and Novikonyak to determine exactly how large the comet is, but the nucleus is thought to be around 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles, in diameter, which makes the entire comet pretty big. ISON will make its closest pass to Earth on December 26, 2013, and then reach perihelion, closest approach to the Sun, on November 28, 2013. At this time, ISON will pass within 730,000 miles, nearly 1.2 million kilometers, of the Sun. It appears that the discovery of the comet has gained extreme interest from world space organizations. On April 30, 2013, the online Zlu space camera broadcast a live image of ISON as it traveled towards Earth. NASA has organized a massive global campaign to track the comet using space and ground-based telescope technology. In fact, they are going to develop a huge balloon that will be strapped with a telescope and camera equipment that will watch ISON as it nears the Earth next fall. This will include infrared and visible ultraviolet imagers that can track emissions from the comet. It is thought that ISON is making its first pass into our inner solar system from the Oort cloud. However, it has been recognized that the comet holds an extremely similar orbit to the Great Comet of 1680. Due to the similarity, it was originally hypothesized that the two objects could have come from the same parent body. It should be said that the comet does not appear on the Torino scale, which is used to measure the potential danger of future impact events on Earth. This indicates that NASA has found a 0% chance that the comet would directly hit Earth, suddenly change direction and have a chance of hitting Earth, or break apart and move towards the Earth. 1. Johnny Garrett. On October 31, 1981, somebody entered the St. Francis Roman Catholic convent in Amarillo, Texas, and raped, beat, and stabbed a 76-year-old nun named Tadia Benz to death. After the crime, police soon turned their attention to a 17-year-old teenager named Johnny Frank Garrett. On November 9, 1981, Garrett was arrested by the police for the murder of Benz after circumstantial evidence was gathered against him, including his fingerprints at the scene. During his interviews, it was soon realized that Garrett was mentally slow because he was viciously abused by his stepfather and experienced severe brain damage. During the interrogation of Garrett, police said he gave a written confession detailing the murder of Benz. However, Garrett refused to sign the confession and later recanted any responsibility for the crime. He maintained his innocence throughout the trial, conviction, and death by way of execution. During the trial, Garrett took the stand and denied raping or murdering Sister Benz. However, he said that he entered the convent 2 days before the crime looking for items to steal. He said that he entered multiple rooms and left fingerprints. After a short deliberation, Johnny Garrett was found guilty of the murder of Sister Benz and sentenced to death. On February 11, 1992, he was executed in the state of Texas. Johnny Garrett was scheduled to be executed in early January of 1992 but was given a month reprieve due to the urging of Pope John Paul II. Despite fingerprint evidence against Garrett, a large number of important facts were ignored by the jury, including statements where multiple witnesses saw a dark-skinned man near the convent at the time of the murder. Also, Garrett's case involved a pathologist named Ralph Erdman who was later accused of evidence tampering and perjury. Erdman discarded valuable semen samples during the autopsy of Benz.